welcome to the Wrap Up. My name is David Kirkman. I am your host today, and this is going to be the show where we do the latest movie news and some of the latest movie reviews. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. Sitting to my immediate right is Malik Shakur.
Hi, CV World.
And going around the circle, Bruce Cunningham, Sam Williams, and Duncan Wheeler.
Hey.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump right on in. Okay, so there's been news that Robert Downey Jr. has repeatedly denied that he's not going to do Iron Man 4. And so after saying no to Iron Man 4 for private negotiation reasons because he wants a higher pay salary, he is now saying that he will do it, but only if Mel Gibson will direct it. So what do you guys think about this, this statement?
Baloney. Nah. I mean, I understand. I just talked about it today with everybody. He keeps saying that he's like a model of coming back and second chances, and true, but his circumstances were different. He came back off drug addiction. That's different. Mel Gibson has shown time and time again that he is doesn't have the best character. With Passion of the Christ, that was controversy. A lot of people thought that was bigoted towards the Jews, and then he came back with his racial statements to his girlfriend that she caught on recording, and it was just. I just think that he kind of already had his second chance because Passion of the Christ was kind of offensive to the Jewish community, and then the statements he said after that were really harsh. He said, "I hope you get raped by a pack of N-words." Let's not forget that. That was harsh, and his personality is just. I wouldn't work with Mel Gibson. I mean, that's disgusting to hear.
Sam, what do you think about this?
I mean, I'm not a fan of Mel Gibson personally. Even ignoring his personal drama, I'm not a huge fan of his movies or his acting, and including his personal drama, I mean, it doesn't paint a pretty picture. But I understand that Robert Downey Jr. has a close relationship with Mel Gibson, and Mel Gibson helped him out in a hard time. So I understand that he's got the relationship, but in reality, Mel Gibson won't be directing any Iron Man movies. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. is done as Iron Man, and that's the.
I mean, why do you say he's done as Iron Man though?
Well, because he basically was just saying this as a way to show that he'd be willing to work with Mel Gibson on something. But I mean, Robert Downey Jr. knows that we know it. Mel Gibson isn't going to be directing any Marvel movie.
Right.
So I think, and Robert Downey Jr. says if you read the whole interview that he's got a lot of projects going on, and I mean he's almost 50. He doesn't have the time or the energy to be doing a superhero movie.
I mean, if he said he would have had a cameo in Iron Man, I don't know, maybe as a burglar or something, or if he would have played a bigotist, I don't know, that's more of his character. I mean, I guess that could have been more manageable, get him back on set, get him back in the A-list movies because he just did Expendables. That's more of a B-rated film. But if you said have him do a cameo, that would have gotten back in the scene and maybe back into acting first instead of just heading a project directing. Because I think as a minority, if all of a sudden I'm just working on set as even as a grip, and all of a sudden it's Mel Gibson's in charge now. It's how am I supposed to feel now?
Right.
Knowing Mel Gibson's track record and how he feels about minorities and Jews, how am I supposed to feel?
Yeah, Bruce, what do you think about this?
I'm a Mel Gibson fan. Lethal Weapons, I've always been a Mel Gibson fan. I think he's a great director. As far as his personal life, who don't have personal issues, and as far as racism goes, I ain't surprised that he said the N-word or Jewish words or anything of that nature because I'm not surprised by that. He was doing that a long time ago. So that's your personal life. It's about business. It's about that money. So with that said,
okay, since it's about that money, won't Mel Gibson just being ahead of a project just deter fans from going to see his work then?
It depends on the fans, not me. I like Mel Gibson's work. I thought The Passion of Christ.
Mel Gibson probably hates your guts because you black, and
okay,
you still
hate my guts, but as long as Mel Gibson pay me. But if you don't pay me, we got a problem.
You gonna pay to see his movie though?
Yeah, I'm a Mel Gibson fan. I was, from what he said to his girlfriend. I hope you get raped by a pack of N-words. Okay, you surprised by that?
I'm very surprised.
You surprised by that?
In a way.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I thought he was past that point. I know racism still lingers.
If you think you passed that point, if you think a white man ain't upset the N-word, no offense, you know what I'm saying, or haven't heard it within their family behind closed doors, then you know what I'm saying, there's something wrong. Because they do. My expectation bar is not that high for that. I already know what happens. But let's get on with the entertainment. Let's go on making films. The Passion of the Christ was a good film. It was about Jesus Christ. I don't think it was focused towards the Jews. It was just historically that's what happened. So, and the Jews do take offense to it, but it wasn't directed towards any Jews. So I don't think that was a shot towards them. He did Apocalypto, and Robert Downey Jr. come on from a background of drugs. I mean, the man had it. He was a drug addict, and he was on his way out. And so he helped him out. So he
Return the
you know,
favor.
he's trying to return the favor. Now, I agree with Sam. I don't think Mel Gibson's gonna do an Iron Man movie. So, Iron Man franchise, like, no, because Robert Downey Jr. had the poise as Iron Man. What's his name? Stark.
Tony Stark.
Tony
yeah.
Stark.
He
So
can play the character.
He
really
can play
well.
the character, but he had that swag, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody can top that.
Duncan, what do you think about this?
Well, just going off what everybody else said, I kind of agree. I think that I like his work, but at the same time, seeing his personal life, it would be hard for me to go and support anything that he does in the future. I'm not surprised. I'm pretty much in the same boat as Bruce, but it's not going to happen in directing a Marvel.
If it does happen, I'll be outraged. I swear. Man.
A man's.
I bet Reverend Al Sharpton gonna be marching faster than I don't know
I ain't
what.
watching because of that. Because you know, his personal life's gonna catch up with him and find him out anyway. If it's like that, it's gonna find him out, and then he gonna, you know, it's gonna come to a point where he'll cry after us before we cry after him, or come after him. So you know, the stuff that he's done in the past, I'm a fan of it. I'm not into his personal life because everybody got personal issues and everybody got something they need to work on. So there's other great directors out there that we can support if you know everybody's entitled to their beliefs about it. And now if you come off saying I hate y'all, all right, well I'm gonna cut you off. So
He basically said the first one.
I mean, but we talking about his family and Robert Downey Jr.'s take towards Mel Gibson. And I can understand where he's coming from. He helped me off drugs. I'm gonna help him. My personal opinion about his work. Mel Gibson's work, I like his work. His personal life ain't my business, you know. But since he's a star, he's held to a high standard, and what you do will be scrutinized a little bit more. So,
All right, so let's move on. So it has been confirmed that X-Men Apocalypse, the new X-Men movie that will be coming out next year, is going to finish off the First Class trilogy. And so I want to know if this is a positive or negative for you guys on this. So, Duncan, what do you think about this?
Well, X-Men First Class, I was a big fan of that. Michael Fassbender, he did a great job in that as Magneto. Also, Days of Future Past, that's one of my favorite movies I've seen so far this year. So, Apocalypse, I know they're going to do well with that. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. Marvel, huge Marvel fan. Spider-Man fan, even though I want to see Spider-Man get a Marvel film so bad, but Sony just basically just hold it. Like, dang it, Sony. Like, that's a whole different conversation in itself, but I just want to see one big collaboration with Marvel because X-Men and this whole entire franchise is just so amazing. Like, I remember X-Men was the first, really, wasn't it the first? Was it Spider-Man or X-Men that came first?
It was X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men was the first Marvel movie to really jump off and set it off this whole, you know, Marvel
Serious,
spree.
realistic tone, yeah.
This whole spree of Marvel movies that just come off just hitting home runs. But one thing I'm confused about, just I know for another conversation, why in the X-Men universe are mutants scrutinized, but then in Spider-Man's universe, they're like hailed and praised, and like Tony Stark's praised and Hulkman is praised. I'm kind of confused on that part, but I guess that's kind of why they haven't collaborated. They have to fix that continuity issue. But please, Sony, let Spider-Man go.
Sam, what do you think about this?
Free my brother Spider-Man.
I mean, X-Men movies, they're okay. I mean, they're not revolutionary, and I think this will be a nice wrap up of the
Just get it over with. Just end it.
I think this will end the First Class trilogy, and I think Michael Fassbender's doing a good job. Those are okay movies, but I think it's time for Fox to give Marvel back the rights to the X-Men films, so that Marvel can have the whole breadth. Because I mean, what they've been doing with Avengers and Captain America and all that has been great.
Yeah, the whole cinematic universe.
So if they get their
is
hands,
great,
if Marvel gets their hands back on X-Men, I think it can become like a really good movie franchise instead of the kind of like lackluster thing it's been.
Yeah, Bruce, what do you think about this?
not a big fan of the X-Men series. I like the comic book more than I like the movies. I just couldn't get into the movies. Great actors, but I didn't feel between them. I felt Avengers, Spider-Man, I like them especially, but I just never could get into the X-Men, so I can't really comment on it.
I will admit the original, like the first two X-Men movies, they were kind of like all right to me. Like I didn't think they were like good. That's why I think Spider-Man was truly the first one that made like a really good superhero movie. Spider-Man was like the first really good. X-Men was all right, but then especially like Days of Future Past is when they started getting really good, like to the level of like the Avengers or Spider-Man. But then like I still paid attention because it was the first to come out, and I was like, oh, this isn't bad, but it's also not that great. But it was a good movie to really start. It kind of like it was good. It was good.
Let's not forget, like, the entire X-Men franchise is just like a hot mess right now.
Right now, after
That's a new
well,
one.
not after Days of Future Past, but I mean before Days of Future Past, it was really a hot mess.
It was.
And First Class came along, and it kind of, they were headed in the right direction. And then
Oh, 'cause
obviously,
X-Men 3
obviously with
was
Days of Future, obviously with Days of Future Past, it came and set the record straight. But Wolverine, X-Men Origins, Wolverine.
It became more about
yeah.
Wolverine because
So,
it was
yeah,
like,
it
okay,
did.
how about we
I'm
go
not a
on
Wolverine fan. I like Wolverine.
Yeah.
And so, but I just can't get into the whole X-Men thing. I just can't get into it. Maybe if they collaborated with the Avengers and put Spider-Man in it, some battle in between the two, like the comic book does. The Hulk versus Wolverine. That'd be a good one. Spider-Man versus the Hulk. Something. But the way it's going, I just can't get into it. So.
Yeah. So let's move on. It is confirmed that there's going to be a new Pirates of the Caribbean.
I heard about this. I was
Movie.
talking to somebody about this a while ago.
Why?
So I want to know, what are your thoughts on this? Johnny Depp is obviously returning for
Of
the
course he
fifth
wrote that
installment.
check. Of course he returned it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, play the same character again? How much? Oh, okay, yes. Good day
But
to
that's
you.
what I say. It's about the money. It's
Bro, of course about the money.
He hasn't
That's
been-
what it's about the money.
He hasn't been doing anything
After the
good
third one,
anyway.
it was about the money. Because really after the third one, it was like, okay, they're married. I guess what's Johnny Depp gonna do next? I mean, I guess story over. Davy Jones locker,
Psych.
It's like yeet.
Davy Jones.
Oh, we're gonna milk this for all it's worth. And they're at the point where it's like milk. They're just getting drops right now. It's just like imagine like a water hole, and it's like it's dead dry. They're like getting at the mud right now and trying to filter that out.
Squeezing the water out the mud.
I know.
What do you think about this?
I gotta agree. Just like
They are milking.
I think everyone agrees it should have ended at 3.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was a trilogy. It should have wrapped up as a trilogy. And I haven't seen 4. I have no desire. This 5th one.
I didn't know they made a fourth one. It's like, wait, there was a fourth one?
Exactly.
I didn't know there was a fourth one.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you out in the hallway, like I literally forgot that there was a 4th Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I remember it when they were like really marketing and pushing it out because it was supposed to really feature just Johnny Depp for the most part.
Yeah, because
But,
the other characters like left. They got
Right,
married.
exactly.
They had to have that after, and Johnny Depp was like, it was like, I'll get another chick.
What do you think about this, Bruce?
So in other words, they need to take that production money and give it to us because it's a waste of a film.
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
Or what you should do is have Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow, travel into the future and then work with Somali pirates. Captain Phillips.
I'm the captain of this ship.
This is my ship, Irish.
Shut up!
I look like you.
Shut up!
No, no.
Hey, look at me!
screen.
I do not look like the Somali
screen.
pirates from Captain Phillips.
He did a few months ago. He looked just like
few
Alvin
minutes
Bakar.
With the S-girl.
Yeah.
Probably
Split
a couple
screen.
weeks ago.
Hey, I'm the captain of the ship.
We be wholesome Irish.
Irish.
Don't do that thing fire Irish.
I kept him out.
Everybody
don't do that.
know
So what do you think about
this?
this?
I have to agree. A 5th one. I didn't know it was a 4th, so it's like scraping the bottom of the barrel. Here, so.
It better go straight to DVD.
Well, obviously it's not going to go straight to DVD.
Not even
Obviously,
DVD.
that's not
Netflix.
even happening.
Don't kill any more. I don't know. Don't waste plastic. Let's go straight to Netflix.
Question: Who's doing the soundtrack? Is it Hans Zimmer again?
I have no idea who's going to say this.
Why would I
bet they
sit there
will
for like
do it.
another 3.5 movies just to listen to the sound? It's like this movie's crap, but hey, this music knocking though. Nah, dog,
Yeah.
get out of here. I'll just play some Michael Jackson in
It
the car.
improves upon the movie. If a movie has a good soundtrack.
Yeah, I agree with
I
you.
bet it's gonna be the same.
It makes it.
Dun,
You
dun, 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 dun.
You are overlooking.
It's gonna be awful.
All right, so let's move on. The next part of our show. Thank you so much for staying with us for up to this point. We're going to go ahead and review the movie Gone Girl, which is directed by David Fincher. And so the one who's really amped to talk about this is Sam. Because he's a huge David Fincher fan. And I got to tell you, after watching this movie, I'm a huge David Fincher fan too. But go ahead, Sam, start this off. What do you think about this movie? Let's start with all the pros first, and then we'll go back around and do the cons, okay?
Okay,
So
I mean,
go
I have so much praise for this movie. This is my movie of the year, for sure.
Oh.
I can guarantee there's nothing coming out at the end of this year that'll beat this for me.
What?
The acting, I mean, I have some problems with Ben Affleck, but everyone else in the movie has incredible acting. The writing is phenomenal. If this doesn't win Best Screenplay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And the soundtrack was great. The cinematography was great. The story was great. I mean, it's just, and it just touches on so many different themes. It has important messages about all those. And it was just so well done.
Bruce, what are your thoughts on this?
I'll let y'all get y'all pros.
The movie is 2 hours and 25 minutes. and you can feel it going on. At the same time, it keeps your attention. It keeps you into it. Never was there a dragging moment where I wish this would end. It kept you on the edge of your seat. For that, it was a very good movie. I think it could be Oscar worthy. Also, I think nominations come out for Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress in this movie. It highlighted issues that go on in marriage. So
Wait, what
lady problems do you have, dog?
Okay, I'm just saying, you know, I've been there, but
okay, OJ.
I'm saying, you know, just because you see people out in the couples, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
So your girl's disappearing though?
Marriage is hard work. It wasn't to that extreme, but I'm just saying, you know, marriage is hard work. At the same time, you don't know what a marriage couple is dealing with, and so I can relate to it. It was, and I kind of sat back and like, you know, when you first meet somebody, love at first sight, you know, the infatuation of meeting somebody, then when you with a person for a certain length of time, you know, it's it was realistic to me, and I liked it.
This movie was realistic.
It was realistic because, you know, there are some
Who going pro next? Who going pro next?
We're gonna go to Duncan, then we're gonna go to pro for you.
I don't know if it's pro comments, just general comments about the movie. This being a David Fincher film, there's going to be a lot of exposition. There's going to be a lot of talking. He likes to focus more on dialogue and more about the story, less than the plot. You guys know what I mean? So that being said,
Story less than the plot.
It's like, okay, so like the story, like the plot. Okay, the plot of this movie was
His wife goes missing.
exactly, but it's like
The
story.
story
behind
is
it.
like
Oh,
she
okay.
goes missing. Okay,
The exposition. Okay, I see.
Okay.
So, that being said, there's going to be a lot of exposition. It kind of feels like the movie is slow at times, but at the same time, you understand, okay, if it wasn't slow, then we'd be rushing through it, and that would come at the cost of us understanding the movie.
I guess that is one
All right,
compliment.
so Malik, go ahead.
Every
Pros.
like, there's no like fluff lines. Everything is important in the
Like
movie.
what's
All the
up,
dialogue,
so
like nothing
Ryan
is like
was really
nothing's like wishy-washy. Like I guess I will give it that, you know, it's one of those movies like you don't want to leave or take a break because you don't want to miss anything important.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies. Now that being said, any more positive remarks before I go in on this movie?
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead. Oh, well, okay. Well, I'll tell you this. Again, like Duncan said, it's a 2-hour length long movie, but it doesn't feel like it's 2 hours. But at the same time, it does. I mean, it makes you want more because at the very end of the movie, it does kind of cut off. But at the same time, you're like, it's just like the perfect amount of time, I guess. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, I give praise to all of the actors. Actually, all the actors did a really, really good job. Obviously, Ben Affleck's acting is definitely stale. I think he hit his peak with Daredevil as far as acting.
Daredevil was the worst.
That's the point.
Not
That's
even,
the
you
point.
didn't even say the town. Like, you didn't even want to say the town.
I mean, he's Ben
I think
Affleck
he
in the
did good in
town.
this one. I think he did good.
Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't do bad. He obviously didn't do bad.
Okay, since
but
you're on the negative side now, can I
his
start going
acting,
ham?
his acting was kind of stale.
Can I go ham?
Go in.
My brother said, man.
I just want to go ham on this movie.
Go
Y'all
ahead.
can go ahead and do y'all praise. If you got some praise, go ahead.
I thought the way it ended, that's life. You know, I think he did a twist towards the end. It was a twist. He stayed with his wife, and that happens. As crazy as the man or as crazy as the women are, and you can't figure out for why. I spoiled the movie, but I spoiled it. Excuse me, but the ending was realistic. Okay,
Yeah.
the ending was a little more realistic. It was a surprise. It kind of like it was a shock to everybody how it ended. But hey, that's life. I thought he did it. That twist was an amazing twist that he portrayed, and also in the movie. As far as it also highlighted how the media plays in situations.
Yeah.
As far
That's another thing.
how
I
the
agree.
media plays.
Yeah.
The media will twist stuff up. The media will take facts and how it will, you know, without knowing all the facts, how it would, you know what I'm saying? But that's how the media is. It needs to stay on the air. It needs to get its ratings at the expense of somebody's character.
Yeah, and so before we go into the cons, let's just talk about how well Tyler Perry did.
Not get me started on Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
told me to go ahead.
Wait. Tyler
Say a
Perry.
compliment.
Tyler Perry
Say a
did.
compliment.
Tyler Perry did. I think he did a really, really good job at executing his character. I'm not saying obviously his acting ability, it's not Oscar worthy or anything like that. But for me, this is the most I've seen from Tyler Perry that made me believe in his character. And for a moment, very briefly, I forgot that he was Tyler Perry and focused on the fact that he was who, Duncan?
Tanner Bolt.
Tanner Bolt, exactly. And he did a very good job at really executing that. So we're going to go ahead and go into the cons really fast. Go ahead, Malik. Start us off since you want to go ham on this so much.
Go ham.
All right,
Go ahead.
First off, this movie storyline. Okay, storyline. For one, going into the movie, knowing how Ben Affleck was acting, for some reason I could kind of tell what the twist was gonna come in. I told you like at the beginning of the movie, he's like, I don't want to spoil it, but I kind of saw the middle coming, where like the big reveal about. I'm trying not to spoil. I'm trying to be real meticulous with my wording, so not to spoil the movie, but also get my point across. Basically, the middle of the movie, I don't even know how to say this, but basically, I saw the whole thing coming. Basically, everything. I feel like I was 2 steps ahead of the movie. I think that's just me, but just me as like being an up and coming writer, I saw everything playing out. I was like, oh, this is gonna happen, and it didn't happen. Like I was whipping David ears, like, oh, I bet this happened, and it happened. So like for me, the movie was like really predictable. Second part about the storyline. Because it was so predictable, they kind of jacked up the story. I felt like the middle should have been the ending, and the ending should have been the middle.
Get him, Sam.
No.
That ruins the theme of the movie if you do.
No.
The point of the movie. Wait, let me say this real quick. It isn't to give you this twist ending, because that's not the point. Like, there's.
I would have preferred a twist ending. That'd have been more exciting.
No.
Like, I think they should have saved the whole big reveal.
One person at a time, y'all. Come on.
I'll shut the heck up.
Go ahead, Sam. Say what you want to say.
That would ruin the whole point of the movie, because the point of the movie isn't to have this dramatic twist moment. The point of the movie is to get this message across. Like, at a certain point in the movie, you have to decide kind of which side you're on. Like, it's not about.
Oh, that's another thing. That's another thing. I hated everyone in this movie. Everyone.
You're not supposed to like them.
That's again.
Like I said,
it's not supposed to be.
But then again, like that's supposed to be like one character in a movie that you're supposed to relate to and like,
Not necessarily.
so that way you feel like you're along with the
I
ride.
agree with that.
I halfway through the movie, once I found out like the husband was doing everything wrong, I think we know that moment when we realized like, oh, this dude's just a straight screw up.
Yeah.
We all know that moment. Once again, I'm trying not to spoil. There's like 5 things in this movie that just kind of came out of left field. Once like that moment happened, like I realized like, dang, I hate everyone in this movie. Cause then like at that time, I think they already revealed the middle part. I don't know. I'm trying to remember tickets about words.
This is the thing that I said when we saw the credits start rolling, and you guys were like, I didn't like none of the characters. I was like, well, you know what? I think that's what David Fincher was going for. I don't think you're supposed to like any of them, and I think that if you have that certain feeling,
like really,
I think he did a really good job at executing what he wanted you to feel, what he wanted you to think.
One thing I did
movie.
like is because like I kind of had time to meditate on this, because I'm glad I didn't just like come right from the movie and then come here. That's why I'll probably just be cursing up a storm and revealing everything. I'll be like, spoil, because I hated this movie. Don't see it. But I guess now since I had time to calm down, I will sit back and admire the fact that it was very realistic as far as like the media, how like the media was skew and twist. And I kind of did at one point before I like lost all respect for like Ben Affleck in the movie, his character. Like at the time, I felt really bad for him because I feel like, oh, this is the awkward guy. Because like I'm an awkward guy, and I feel like some of the mistakes he was making, I could have made. Like I don't know, like if somebody says smile for the cameras and like it's your wife's missing party, I probably like I would have been like, yeah. I was like, oh God, you're not supposed to smile at your wife's missing party. Or like the whole time, like the girl came up to him and took a selfie with him, and he was smiling. I was like, come on, don't do that. But it got to the point where it was like almost watching a horror movie. It's like, why are you making every bad decision possible? Like everything you could possibly do wrong, you are doing.
All right, so Bruce, go ahead and give
So David Fincher did it. He like Sam said, you wasn't meant to like everybody. It was meant to. It was realistic. You gonna hate both sides because the protagonist, antagonist.
Once again, this is not realistic.
He kept switching. He kept switching.
Totally
And I was like,
by the
because
end, there's a firm choice.
Yeah.
But for most of the movie, you're trying to decide which one of them is more terrible, which one you really support.
Yeah, and so with me, when I was watching it, at first it was like, I feel sorry for the man. Then, hold on, this shit crazy. And then it was like, dude, you need to, you need to make a decision on if you're gonna leave or stay, and I want, so
Right.
it switches back and forth.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the movie, you look at both of them, they both crazy.
Right.
They both got issues, and that's realistic. Hey, both of y'all, you all need to go. You all need counseling. You all need to do something. But
Tyler
you know
Perry,
what I'm
man,
saying?
y'all the most couple.
That's the best one.
That's the only thing that made me go like, Tyler Perry, go make a Medea movie. Get your Medea comic out of here, Tyler Perry.
But I didn't see any Medea.
Right.
I didn't see any Medea. I didn't see any reference to it.
That's why it's so easy, Medea line.
He played
like,
the Lord.
y'all the most dumb couple I've ever seen.
Yeah, but
That is so easy being a Medea line. Get out of here.
That's why he did.
Get out of here.
Tyler Perry did so good because it was no Medea.
You said- I remember you said in the theater, like-
lawyer. He was strictly a lawyer. He came.
I remember you said in the theaters like, I couldn't see anybody else playing that lawyer. Anybody could have played that role.
Anybody could have played it. But
Anybody could have played that
well.
role.
He played it
Anybody
well.
could have played that
Okay,
well.
but he played it well.
Anybody could have did it.
But he wasn't trying to be something like that. He just,
Idris Elba could have did that.
Okay, but he brought a nice flavor to the lawyer, I'm not giving him
Who else?
spoilers, but
Who else? Any
So what you saying? He did a bad
He didn't do
job.
a bad job, but anybody could play a role. He did him too much credit. He played a big role. Of course he's not.
But did he do good or did he do bad?
He was alright. He was disposable.
Okay.
I could have played that role.
Okay,
You could have played that role.
And I probably
We could have played that.
We could have played that role.
I mean, it was in St. Louis, so
Hey, you room operator, you could have played that role. Camera guy, you could have played that role. Anybody could have played that role. Get up, Tyler Perry, jump.
So we went on a jump.
The only time you good at the only give him credit.
Wait,
You only give him credit. You only give him credit because he wanted to address this time.
I was giving him
Only because he wanted to address.
Okay.
I hate you, Tyler Perry. I hate you so much.
Bring the volume down a little bit.
Wait, to go off
Go
what
ahead.
they were saying. I don't think it's necessarily true that you should like one character movie. I think if the director and the actress
Only
make-
person I sympathized with
have-
this movie was his sister because I felt like his sister was the
That's
only
what
one
I'm
on the outside looking
saying.
in. It's like, what
Yeah.
the is going
And
on?
also,
That's
if
how I
a
felt.
director, if a director and actress have caused you to feel any type of way about characters, and
Yeah.
you hate them, that means they've done.
I hate Tyler Perry. I hate Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
I think. Okay.
Thank you.
The only reason I gave it the grade I did is because the lead actress in this, the wife, did a pretty good job.
She did.
I hated her guts, and I realized like going in, I was like, man, I hate her so much. Then I realized,
But Rosemary
that means
Pike-
she did her job.
She
still hate you,
deserves. I think
No, I think it's-
she deserves an Oscar nomination for this role.
'Cause so
honestly,
far-
she does such a great job at just
'Cause-
showing the dynamics and the depth of her character. I mean, she goes from being like this really, really good housewife who you think you think you're on her side, and she ends up becoming crazy, and obviously she has psychological issues. By the end of the movie, you end up hating her guts, and so I think her showing. For any actor to show that much depth and that much character to what they're bringing for a movie, I think that's
I don't think it was
that
much like-
deserves
I don't think
an
it was
Oscar
much,
nomination.
I don't think it was much depth. Okay, I think her role was good. I think so far, like she's the best female role I've seen this year. So I think she like kind of does have that lead actress role in the bag, unless something else like completely comes along like out of left field. But so far, I think she does have it in the bag. But as far as depth goes, I mean, her whole character kind of just seemed like how poised she was. I kind of felt like I said, the whole movie for me was predictable.
She was just a woman scorner, okay?
Yeah.
And then took it to the extreme.
Yeah.
That's all.